When I talk about bigger fish theory, a lot of it comes from the perspective of a video that I made talking about how being a nice guy taught me Dom sub dynamics, right? One of the greatest revelations in my life is that stimuli is neutral. Stimuli is really neutral. A lot of times people attach certain values to stimuli that they experience and say that it is inherently good or bad, and that's not true. It's not true. But it can make people feel a particular way. And the way people interpret their stimuli is going to be based off of their perceptions, their point of view, their mindset, but also their desire level, their respect level for the individual who is, instituting that different stimuli. I'd more so consider myself like a dominant empath. Like I kind of got into the game through Empath Supernova. And some people know about this stuff, some people don't. But in my Empath Supernova, I had a certain level of emotional discipline to where I didn't go through the same level of shit that a lot of men went through. For me, I had certain experiences, but within my experiences, I saw the level of pleasure, the level of desire, the level of intensity that other people get to experience, and I studied like how people, the things that people desire out of a narcissistic partner, right? And through studying the things that people desire out of a narcissistic partner, I've learned to extract, certain stimuli, to extract certain effects that come out of dealing with somebody who's narcissistic or abusive, and take the things that create that level of pleasure, but then to have a different thing that I interject into it. So where one narcissistic person may have a perspective of just trying to get validation out of it, or one narcissistic person may be trying to tear a person down, I will break a person down to build it back up. See, it's a different mindset, it's a different perspective. Where one narcissist may say, I want to tear this person down so I can put them in a position where it's weak for me, so they'll be, a slave to me forever, which doesn't work. I'll say, okay, cool, well, I'm going to break this person down, but I'm breaking this person down only to the extent that I have the ability to build them back up. Because if I build them back up, I know that when I build them back up, they're going to be in a much better position. And the thing is this, like, there's certain things that trigger my awareness. I see the same things that a narcissist sees. I see the same shit. Like, I see weakness in the individual. I see bitch assness, right? I see these different things. I see weakness, but I like to add strength where I've seen weakness before. Like for me, and just being a dominant empath, in my experience, I just, it's what I call the bigger fish theory. I love to take an individual who's been through some tough shit, abuse, all kind of trauma, and show them like, listen, those same things that you've experienced, you can experience those things in a light that you enjoy. And then take things that people consider victim blaming and share a certain piece of personal accountability to get rid of a victim mentality that leads to bitterness in life, that leads to self-fulfilling prophecies, that lead to further abusive relationships. So for me, a lot of these things are very important to me, because I've seen a lot of people who take that bitter victim mentality and they never leave out of that mentality, and it's something that sabotages their relationships moving forward. I've been in some of those relationships. I've been in some of those situations. So for me, it's the thing about power. I love power, right? But there are things that I like to do with power that I don't think everybody likes to do with it, right? I don't want to have power just to put a person in a bad position. I don't want to have power just to feel like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. It's like, nah, I make sure that I benefit from it. I definitely make sure that I benefit. But I take that power to have influence to leave a person better than I found them. So for me, it's just like being a dominant empath. Being a dominant empath is something that is very enjoyable, because I can embody in my mind and in my emotions. I don't have to show it. I have emotional discipline where I don't have to show it, but I know what somebody's feeling when I'm interacting with them. Like when I'm dealing with a woman sexually, ain't nobody penetrated me. But when I'm dealing with a woman sexually, I can put myself in her shoes and imagine what she's feeling, to the point where I know what to do to make her feel something even more intense. And for me, intensity is such a big thing. Just like as a Scorpio, and some people think that's bullshit, but it's accurate to me. Scorpio rising, Leo moon. Scorpio sun, Leo moon, Scorpio rising. It's just certain things that I'm into. I've dealt with some sage burners before, but for me, it's just a matter of saying that I understand that intensity of pleasure is such a great thing in life, and overstimulation is something that can occur. And something that I also understand is being able to put myself in the shoes of a person who's been overstimulated, to a place where it makes it difficult for a person who can't take them to that same place to be able to experience that same level of pleasure and fulfillment and enjoyment out of their relationships. So for me, I deal with the individual and I try to reinterpret, give them an opportunity to re-experience some of the same stimuli that was traumatic for them, so that they can leave that victim mentality, right? And it's something that's very, very enjoyable for me. Like, I love it, right? And that's why, like, I'm the type of person who, I both have a very big ego, but I also have a need for things to be honest, for things to be true. I'm an honest person myself. Never lied to have sex with a woman. I've never even taken a woman on a date because I wanted to have sex with her. Like, for me, I don't even take women on dates unless we've been having sex, or unless sex isn't something that's a priority for me. And there's been a long time since I've moved in that way. It's been many, many years. And just in my mindset, I've studied and I've embodied, and I've taken time to just empathically resonate with the way a person feels when they're in that submissive position, to empathically just resonate with the way a person feels when they're in that feminine submissive position, and that masculine submissive position, and that feminine dominant position, and that masculine dominant position. And just for me, being masculine dominant is what I see brings the most alignment for myself in my life. And I like giving other people that opportunity to experience that true feminine submissiveness, because when somebody's in a state of innocence, oftentimes they may take a feminine submissive stance, right? Because they don't know any better. But oftentimes they may take that stance somewhat with someone who is masculine submissive, right? Or they may take that stance with someone who is feminine dominant, and then they get hurt in the process. Or they may take that stance with someone who's also feminine submissive, and then it's just everything it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit, and just two people end up not being compatible when they both could be taking a different stance with another person. So just my experience in life, just seeing the pleasure that comes with being stretched, seeing that pleasure that comes with investing, seeing that pleasure that comes with waiting for pleasure, seeing that pleasure that comes with being stretched away and dominated, is something to where I can resonate with it. I can put myself in a woman's shoes in the moment and say, wow, this is dope. I love how much pleasure she's experiencing right now. I'm sliding up in her and she's having orgasm back to 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 back. And for me, that's something that it strokes my ego and I enjoy it. And it gives me a certain level of power. And that power often gives me a certain level of influence. And I use that influence to present my program. And oftentimes that's just something that I very much enjoy. Just being a dominant empath is something that it brings a lot of pleasure and enjoyment to my life, but it also puts me into a circumstance to where I can't deal with shit that's not real. Sometimes a woman can be masculine submissive, and for men who haven't dealt with women who are truly feminine submissive, they won't know the difference between cooperation and submissive. They won't know the difference. So they'll see a woman who's spending time with them and talking to them and having a little bit of sex with them and all these different things, as if that woman is truly fucking with them the long way, as if that woman is truly feeling them, when it's often not the case. Where it's often that woman wants something out of it in the future, or she's already getting something out of it that she feels is equivalent to her body. But I understand that masculine submissive position in this day and age, in this generation, is not really something that's aligned for something long term, and it often attracts or puts a person in the box of being feminine dominant in order to deal with them on a consistent basis. So for me, I look at these different aspects of sociosexual dynamics kind of from that platform. Like, some people wonder why I'm only 26 years old and I've been making content for a while now, and I've been talking to people for a while now. I've been writing songs for a minute. How I understand some of the things that I understand in a way that a lot of people don't. One, to be completely honest, I'm not even trying to be facetious, I probably am more intelligent than most people, and I'm not. I really don't like to say that, but it is probably pretty true. And I won't even say that I'm a genius. I'll just say that I'm obsessive. I think about things a lot deeper than most people do. That's just one thing about me. I think a lot deeper than most people do about the same topics. You know, if something's on my mind, I don't stop thinking about it until I find solutions. Where some people ruminate, like some people meditate to clear their mind. Some people ruminate to relish in the anguish. To me, I contemplate, you know, and I strategize, and I keep thinking about something until I find solutions, and I search for the solutions. And then when I find the solutions, I tweak it. You know, I tweak it until I find something that fits me, and I find something I feel fits people at large. You know what I mean? And there's something that's very important to me, just helping people, because I do want to help with relationships in the Black community. And there's just different things that I feel like will help in that regard. You know, like Dom sub dynamics, masculine feminine dynamics, fetishes, kinks, just understanding these different aspects of things, like emotional discipline, just understanding that emotion is something that corrupts dominance, but emotion is something that lubricates submissiveness, right? Femininity lubricates submissiveness, but it corrupts dominance. And masculinity stunts submissiveness, but it concentrates dominance. And just understanding these different aspects of sociosexual dynamics and sexual polarity is something that I believe puts me in a position to really be able to help people with the information that I share. So, you know, this is Brody talking about being a dominant empath. I'm out.